welcome. I'm Ijoma Hunyas for tonight. Government agencies failed to appear before House ad hoc committee probing alleged theft of $17 billion of undeclared crude oil and liquefied natural gas. Bring Back Our Girls group asks federal government to set up broad inquiry into missing persons across northern Nigeria since insurgency began. Ondo State High Court jails kidnappers of former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief Olufalaye, for life. And G7 foreign ministers seek unified approach to the Syria conflict, resolved to persuade Russia to break alliance with President Bashar al-Assad.
Business news tonight. President and Chief Executive of Dangote Group, Mr. Aliko Dangote, says agro-based production is a game changer for Nigeria.
On sports news, NPFL defending champions Enugu Rangers terminates the contract of head coach Imama Amapakabo following a series of poor results.
Hello. And from Abuja, Aviation Minister explains vibrations experienced at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, denies reports of an earthquake.
We begin tonight in the nation's capital, where a House of Representatives ad hoc committee today began a probe into the alleged undeclared crude oil and liquefied natural gas export running into billions of dollars. 12 of the agencies linked to the alleged scam, including the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, the Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigeria Ports Authority, however, failed to appear before the lawmakers. Our correspondent Lanre Lasisi reports.
The Nigerian oil sector is one industry that has been the focus of numerous inquiries and investigations. This ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives is investigating allegations that $17 billion of undeclared crude oil and liquefied natural gas exports to global destinations were stolen. The chairman of the ad hoc committee outlines the scale of the investigation.
Reports have it that over 57 million barrels of Nigerian crude oil were illegally exported and sold in the USA between January 2011 and December 2014. The estimated revenue loss by the government of Nigeria is around $12 billion at an exchange rate of 196 naira to a dollar. This translates to over 2 trillion.
The minority whip of the House, declaring the event open, says these allegations and others before it have left a shadow on the country's development.
The specter of oil theft and associated crimes in the industry in Nigeria is unending and has remained an albatross on the national development needs till date. The problem of oil subsidy and the ripping off of Nigeria and Nigerians may be assuming the crimes of yesteryears.
It's now time to hear from government agencies, but only 3 of them are present.
Number 10, I mentioned Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, NEITI. Anybody? Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Molecular Power System Limited.
The lawmakers are not pleased with this development.
In the legislative arm, we have promised as part of our 8th legislative agenda to actually support this government to fight corruption. And we accept government agencies should also complement the government by doing the needful.
The committee is forced to adjourn its sitting to the next day. Past investigations into matters such as this have remained inconclusive. The expectation is that this investigation will succeed where others have failed. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
As the Bring Back Our Girls group prepare to mark the 3rd anniversary of the abduction of the Chibok girls, celebrity activist Charlie Boy today took to the streets of Abuja over the matter. The popular artiste, who was joined by other members of the group, said they are protesting what he describes as the reluctance of the federal government concerning the rescue of the missing girls. He focused his criticism on the National Assembly, saying that as long as politicians care for themselves more than the people, Nigerians will continue to resist neglect.
You're a man they called the area father, Mr. Charlie Boy. You're walking alone through the nation's capital, and I want to ask you, what are your words for authorities concerning this issue of the Chibok girls in captivity?
It is obvious that our government is insensitive. It is obvious that the government don't care for us. And let me come down to the level. Pikin wey say mama no go sleep. That pikin himself no go fit sleep. That it's taken 3 years to get our girls back. It's sad. If they don't show concern for us, they can't protect our lives. Our docility is killing us. We have not bothered to ask ourselves the pertinent question, are we going to go like this for the rest of our life? I don't think so.
Meanwhile, a panel of international experts and rights groups have advocated the commissioning of a broad federal government inquiry into the number of unidentified missing persons across Nigeria's northern region since the insurgency began in 2011. The conveners of the Bring Back Our Girls group gathered a group of international forensic criminologists and human rights experts to brainstorm on how to arrest cases of missing persons here in Nigeria. Our correspondent Ajuri Ngalale reports.
We have history of
Marking the 3rd year of the abduction of the Chibok girls, members of the BBOG converge in Abuja.
of the failures
And issues concerning Africa's largest population are paramount on the agenda.
What will work within the systems and societies that you have at the moment? So, for example, we are very reliant on biometric data, right? When was the last time Nigeria had a census, for example, in terms of the ability just to provide basic data on people, let alone having biometric data and all these kind of things? The election was a good step forward in terms of that, and perhaps using the election in terms of the fingerprinting and the actual ID cards from INEC could be a backbone for that.
Still encumbered by age-long political obstacles to conducting a legitimate census, Nigerian authorities are now challenged on transparency in the recovery of missing persons.
When the people in the Northeast have the confidence and the boldness to come out and speak and say their minds and be able to say what exactly has happened to their loved ones. I have not seen 10, 15 of my family members. And someone somewhere, local government chairman sitting somewhere says, no, in this environment, in this community, we only have 10 missing persons. We try to politicize everything.
While experts note that political interference impedes justice in numerous ways, some noted that civil society must step its game up.
In the North especially, there is a death of civil society. People are afraid. People do not have the education or the information to organize themselves in the way that you have. You are here in Abuja, you have organized the people in Chibok. A lot of other communities, Damasak is one, they don't know who to organize for them. The people in Goza, hundreds of children were taken in buses by Boko Haram from Goza, from Damboa into Sambisa. No one is advocating for them. No one is calling their names. No one has a hashtag behind, the search for them.
While repetitive atrocity breeds apathy, Nigerian citizens and authorities are tasked to ask more questions, take more initiative, and above all, personalize suffering to care more deeply. Ajuri Ngalale, Channels Television News.
Security and troops of the Nigerian Army in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, have killed a suspected suicide bomber who was trying to gain entry into the University of Maiduguri. The public relations officer of the university, Tanku Ahmed, confirmed the incident. He says the terrorists gained entry into the university through the back gate around 11 p.m. on Sunday before he was sighted by a vigilant soldier. Mr. Tanku explains that the area where the incident occurred has since been cordoned off by the security agents. It's the second attack in Maiduguri in 3 days. Now, religious leaders are seeking for stronger Muslim-Christian relations to end the ethno-religious conflicts that have engulfed southern Kaduna State and other parts of the country over the years. The leaders, including the Catholic Archbishop of the Abuja Diocese, John Cardinal Onayekon, and Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, emphasized the issue at the graduation of some clerics from the Christian-Muslim Relations Center in Kaduna. They are also asking the government to ensure that those responsible for the southern Kaduna crises are brought to justice.
The peaceful coexistence among various ethnic groups on the one hand, between Christians and Muslims on the other hand, has continued to be an issue for debate for years now. The post-Civil War ethno-religious massacres and the recent Boko Haram insurgency and the farmers-herdsmen clashes all pose serious threat to national security and have left in their wake huge humanitarian crisis. All these have reignited the old debate on what needs to be done to boost mutual understanding and inter-religious dialogue among the two faiths. Today, the Kaduna State Government's Christian-Muslim Relations Center has turned out a new set of graduates. In his speech, the founder of the center, Bishop Idowu Ferron, believes that diversity in religion and tribe are blessings from God and not a tool for division.
Unlike ripples, Kaduna will become a state where little arafu is a concept. A state where Christians and Muslims, in spite of our differences, can work together for peace, for freedom, and the culture of respect.
The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Diocese and prominent Islamic scholar identified ignorance about the teachings of Islam and Christianity as largely responsible for the various conflicts in many parts of the country.
Those who accept differences and are ready to do all they can to bridge differences, to build bridges and not build walls, to speak in terms of our common humanity instead of where we differ from everybody else. Those people must continue.
Quran or Islam is so categorical that you Muslims have no better friends than Christians. God is telling Muslims you will never find friends who love you more than Christians.
Concerned about the killings in southern Kaduna, the state governor Nasir El-Rufai warns religious, political and traditional rulers against making inflammatory statements that would worsen the situation.
The responsibility of all persons of faith is so immense, including the obligation to uphold truth and to promote ethical conduct and respect for others. Anybody that wishes to be magisterial, to issue statements laden with certainty to their followers, must first ensure that what they say or what they are saying is not only factual, but does not violate any laws.
The Christian-Muslim Relations Center is set up to serve as a veritable platform for genuine interaction and promoting harmonious relationship among Christians and Muslims in Kaduna State.
In part two, after the break, police arraigned suspected killers of online marketing company's delivery agent before a magistrate court in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.